Everyone say namaste. Can I hear a namaste back? Namaskara, Nama Bengaluru. It's an honor to be here. I'm really happy to be here with you today. And I want to tell that little girl, the 10-year-old that grew up about 400 kilometers from here in a little town called Udupi, keep dreaming big because, dreams do come true like they did for me. I'm the CIO at Atlassian, and my number one priority when I joined the company was to help scale the company. You heard from Dom about what scaling really looks like when you put it into practice. And what I wanted to do today is talk to you about a few use cases that we went through our own scaling processes to deliver business value to our customers, our internal customers, and our external customers such as yourself, and how we did that by leveraging Atlassian products, okay? So let's jump right into it. This is probably the third time you're seeing this, but it won't be the last. Our mission, and we live this every day, and this is what drives all of us, is to unleash the potential of every team. Going right into it, let's take a look at why scaling is a problem for Atlassian. 4 years ago, in Jan of 2016, we were about 54,000 customers, about 1,500 employees. We had 12 products, and we were mostly on-prem. And we had three R&D centers. Today, with three times the size of that, let me go back. Okay, something isn't working. I think it's all the animation. All right, today we're three times all of that, right? 3 times the customers, almost three times the employees. We have divested one product and acquired a bunch, and now we actually are on-prem as well as AWS. And we have 7 R&D centers. One of them is Bengaluru, which was set up a little over a year ago, and I managed to sneak in the IT team along with the R&D team into the Bengaluru center, so we actually have almost 50 IT employees and plans to double year over year over the next couple of years. It's really exciting to be here. So one of the things I wanted to talk about primarily today was what we call dogfooding in the high-tech world. I personally don't like the word dogfooding. Like, does anybody do that? Does any human eat dog food? I mean, what does that even mean? So I actually looked it up. Turns out that it was, the story goes that there was a president of a company, a dog food company, called Calcan, and this individual, the president of the company, would actually bring the dog food to a shareholder meeting and eat it during the shareholder meeting to prove how great quality the dog food was that even a human could eat it. Well, I think that's gross, actually, personally. I come from California. We are wine lovers. So I'd rather use the term drinking your own champagne. So that's what this talk is going to be about. We're not going to talk about dog food anymore, I promise. We're going to talk about drinking our own champagne, which I think is slightly more classy. All right. So the slides don't like me today. All right. So if you think about Atlassian, I wanted to do a by-the-number slide for you guys, just so you get a sense for how we're using our own cloud products. About a little over a year ago, we migrated from on-prem server and data center to cloud. We called it the Hello migration. Hello is our internal cloud. And today we have multiple products, Jira Service Desk, Confluence, all of that in cloud. And all our employees, all 4,000 of them, use our cloud products every day. If you look at Jira, just about a week ago, we looked at how many active projects are on Jira today. We have 518 active projects on Jira as of a week ago. There are about 12 service desks across Atlassian. Almost half of them are managed by IT. And one of our top service desks, which is called Workplace Technology, which is you open a ticket for a laptop or a YubiKey or some room, conference room isn't working. So our workplace technology team in IT manages the largest service desk, and they're kind of supporting almost 60,000 tickets a year. If you look at conference pages, we use conference pages extensively. We blog about it. Every new person coming into Atlassian will write an intro blog. I wrote mine. There's a lot of comments that show up for the blog, mostly like, welcome, thrilled to have you, a lot of likes. So it's kind of our social media internally, like we use conference pages to talk about personal stuff, talk about work stuff, to collaborate together on ideas and on pages. So we have about 800,000 conference pages on our cloud instance today. And of course, if you kind of look at our technology suite, how do we conceive a product and build products and release products and run it? We follow the same end-to-end continuous delivery process around plan, build, integrate, deploy, run, and it keeps going, right? And we use all of our Atlassian suite of products to make our employees really, really productive in delivering products that delight customers such as yourself, build solutions that delight our internal stakeholders. So Atlassian on Cloud is what we are using internally within the company. But I wanted to use a few use cases that kind of brings this to life for you guys. So one, I think there were some questions around change management earlier today. So in IT, one of the changes we were going to drive 2 years ago was to actually enable bring your own devices to work. So let me ask a question. How many of you have a personal device that you take into work for work purposes? Great. How many of you use your work device for personal stuff? Okay, nobody's putting their hands up. This is not a trick question. I'm not trying to get you guys into trouble. What I'm trying to really show here is our work life and our personal lives are beginning to integrate, right? People talk about work-life balance. I talk about work-life integration. It's like it's seamlessly you go from one world to another. And most of us are really, really possessive about our phones. Like, you couldn't take my phone away from me. Like, it's usually within, I know exactly where my phone is at any given point in time. And we all use our phones for pretty much everything, right? Going from one meeting to another, for checking your mail, for chatting with your family, for doing WhatsApp with your parents, and all of that, right? So people have a very deep personal relationship with their phones. So imagine, if you will, when IT in Atlassian decided to roll out BYOD policy. We were going to be dropping an app on your personal phone, and within the day we published the blog, we got 200 comments. The comments ranged from, I'm logging out of Gmail. I don't need you guys to put anything on my phone, and I'm compliant. Without a calendar on my phone, I'm going to end up missing meetings. Too bad. This is what our employees said, right? We just put out a blog. We're going to put BYOD on your devices. And we got some phenomenal responses. Mark, poor Mark, goes, wow. At the end of the day, he goes, I'm sick for a day and this happens? Like, you guys do this to me? Well, Roscoe was kind of supportive. He's like, not that it matters, because 200 people kind of pooped all over your plan, but I actually thought it was a good policy, right? So basically, if you think about it, we failed. IT failed in the way we planned our rollout. We thought we'd tell everybody, hey, we're going to put an app on your phone, your personal phone, and you can bring it and use it for work, no problem. But we didn't get any input from anybody. Dom talked about empathy. We did it in a way that completely lacked empathy, right? There was a real reason. The why was really important. We told them the what. We're like, we'll put an app. The app will find out if you have a 6-digit password and keep you all secure and compliant, and that thereby Atlassian will be secured. We didn't tell them that we were entrusted with protecting our customers' data. Our shareholders wanted us to be secure, wanted Atlassian to be compliant, wanted us to take the responsibility of owning our customers' data really, really seriously. So we didn't really talk to our employees about that. We just told them what we were going to do. Well, empathy means seeing this through the eyes of your stakeholders. Who are the people that are going to use it, and what does it mean to them? So what wasn't working? We're always going to look at this with the lens of people, process, technology. Our people rejected the policy. 200 of them in one day told us what they really thought about it, and it wasn't good. We actually rolled it back. We stopped the project 2 years ago. All our employees thought we were invading their privacy. Or like, what are you going to be seeing? Are you going to see that I'm on Snapchat 5 hours in a day? Are you going to be watching that I'm doing Instagrams, posts during the day? Like, are you going to know that I'm watching Netflix movies on my cell phone? We're like, no. That is not why we're putting this capability on your phone. And of course, we didn't really think about change management. We think about empathy, we didn't think about communication, we didn't think about all of the things that Dom highlighted. We actually had the right tools in Atlassian, but we were not leveraging them. We did one blog post that literally blew up in our face. At the end of it, our CEOs told us to step down, stand back, and we will revisit this at some other time. Well, you know what? We recently made another run at it, about 4 months ago. And we changed a lot of things. We're almost 7 blogs. We actually created a small group, a mini group of really vocal individuals that had serious concerns about our policy. We not only showed them what we would see on their phones, but we actually allowed them a self-service tool that would allow them to see what we see, which is, what's your OS version? Do you have 6-digit password? So we actually, Atlassian is an open company. We take great pride in that. So the ability for a user to see what we see builds a lot of trust. They're like, okay, you don't get to see what I'm doing with Netflix and Instagram and Snapchat, but you're really interested in knowing if I have the right patch on my operating system, the right security, so that if I leave my phone, somebody walks away with it, it doesn't expose all of Atlassian's data. So there was a lot more empathy and conversation with individuals. And you know what? At the end of this, Scott's comment probably reflects how this went. He was really grateful to the team for getting this done. And really, the why came out. We're helping protect our customers' data. That is why we're doing this, right? And I think it's one of those change management exercises in Atlassian that finally is getting a lot of kudos. Almost every comment on the 7 blogs we put out was, oh, every company I've been in has this policy. I'm surprised Atlassian didn't. Nice job, you guys. Nice job telling us what's going to happen, step by step by step. Nice job, with FAQs. rolling out allowance policy. All of those things helped us make sure we were like really in tune and in touch with our employees who are our customers. So if you look at drinking our own champagne, so let's raise a toast. People, understand the people impact of your technology changes. People are really, really possessive about their phones. Everybody freaks out when they think you're going to put something on a device they've bought, have their own plans around, and in a wise big brother looking at what we're doing. Understand the implication and make sure your build process and your change process are in sync. Because we didn't want to finish all of the work and then tell the employees this is what we're doing. We told them what we were going to do before we did it. We told them what we were doing while we were doing it. And then we told them what was done and what they could see after we did it. So we kind of took the employee base through the journey throughout and in a very open, transparent way. And of course, you can't over-communicate. When we first planned this out and we said 7 blogs, it just seemed like a lot. But for an employee that really wants to understand, we have a lot of technical people in the organization. They want to know exactly what we're using, how we're using it, what data we see. Over-communicating was the right thing to do. And we used Jira and Confluence extensively. The project was available on Jira. Any given point in time, anybody could go look at the PC ticket and know when does network segmentation happening? How are we doing? Are we on track? Are we not on track? Which application is in which tier? I mean, they could see all of that in a very open way because we had an open ticket for the entire program. So using Jira and Confluence, we were able to get this done and be successful. All right, I'm going to take on another use case. I think there was a poll a little bit earlier around people that do project management. And maybe I saw about 10 hands. Can you guys put your hands up? I mean, how many people run projects? And as Dom said, it's a painful, thankless job, right? You're herding cats. You continually remind people of the North Star. You're like that way people and trying to get everybody to row in the same direction. Well, one of the problems of project management is making sure that your management is aware of how are things doing. At any given point in time in IT, we have about 12 to 15 projects that we're running. So when I look at it as my portfolio, I want to know which programs are healthy and which programs are in trouble. How do you do that? What was happening in Atlassian is the problem statement. Every project manager would send status updates. Let's say I get 20 status updates on a Friday, and they all use different language, different attributes for success metrics. How do I know if things are going well or not? It's becoming a really hard kind of thing to understand for management. It would result in a lot of questions and a lot of extra work for project managers. We wanted the teams to have autonomy, but by giving them autonomy, we're turning into this inefficient way of, every leader, every manager asking 20 questions of every project team, trying to figure out whether it was on track, whether we were over budget, under budget, all of that. And there was no way to consistently look at it together. So if you look at it, the same problem, right? Managers and employees were really frustrated. Employees were frustrated, managers asking all these questions, managers frustrated because they had no idea what was going on. We didn't have a consistent process to report status. And of course, our status update tools were completely inconsistent. People used Jira for all the projects, but they did whatever they wanted, different attributes, completely inconsistent process. So of course, we knew we had to fix all of this. And this, by the way, was an effort taken on by R&D. And IT is now reaping the benefit of it. So we created something called Project Central. We actually grouped standard and ad hoc components using labels. And then we actually had a common definition we shared to all of the project managers on how to define and describe a project. It's built on Jira. All the data is stored in a Jira project and tickets. So the power of all the integrations that can be used for project managers to be able to run this well. 6 basic standard questions that everybody has to answer. You can do more than that, but the 6 standard questions are common and consistent that allow you to kind of bubble up the overall visualization, and then having the same components labeled. So what did we change? We changed our communication channel. In fact, if you go to Project Central in Atlassian today, and I normally am, at any given point in time, I'm a watcher on 10 to 15 projects. Because they're big projects, I care about the status, and I get weekly emails pushed to me. I don't have to go somewhere to get that information. Every week I get a standard email that tells me exactly the 6 things I'm watching out for in every one of these projects. It's customized emails. Actually, it comes in every Sunday. And we have custom reports so that you can use Confluence and Jira to create any number of reports that you want and views. So each team, IT can run it based on the things that they're caring about. R&D can run it how they want. Finance could run it a different way. And of course, we can actually use custom integration so that any system that has access to Jira can also share this Project Central information up. So what we changed? The weekly email digest. We have tickets. We are able to sort through dependencies a lot better, because any watcher now hears about, let's say I have a program that I'm running, like the BYOD program, and the network infrastructure team has a dependency on that program. You can actually reflect that in Project Central. And I also get a sub part of that email that says, oh, by the way, you're watching these 12 projects, but since last week, these were the new projects that were created. So you could go add yourself to those projects and watch them if you want. Again, a champagne toast. We actually eliminated tons and tons of frustration between people that wanted to know and people that were in the know, and the way for that communication to flow with very little friction. Self-service. That was you can't scale to some of the company processes if you keep asking people to push and pull. We expected everybody to go self-service, and that helped make it a lot less friction. And of course, we wanted our technology to do the heavy lifting. We didn't want project managers to do 10 things for this project and 10 things for that project every week. That's like multiple hours a week for them just to get management the data they need. We wanted the system to do the heavy lifting. So that's one use case. This is my last one, and I'm told I only have 30 minutes. I'm running through this really fast. We have something called clam bakes, and having grown up in India, I had no clue what this means. But I'll tell you, what it means is, you take a whole bunch of clams, you go to a beach, put them all in a big pot, and you bake them. I guess it's a fun activity. And what we were trying to solve here is the dependency between projects. Every product in Atlassian, if you're building Jira, you're building Confluence, has a dependency on platform. So if you're going to do something in Jira, you have to get search working with you, you've got identity to work with you, you've got multiple platform capabilities that have to work together to create a capability for a customer. It became really, really hard to manage those dependencies. We'd have these clam bake meetings, and as you scale the company, are you doing more work, more projects, more features are being built, it becomes impossible. We were managing it all on a Confluence page. And you'd scroll it and scroll it and scroll it, and by the time you got to the end, you'd have forgotten where you started. So it was really hard to keep up with our R&D planning process because we couldn't scale it this way. It used to be pretty easy when we were about a 1,000 people company. It became a 4,000 people company. It was not easy at all. And there were hundreds of priorities that multiple teams had to align on. So it was really hard to keep all of these dependencies on track. So what wasn't working? People overwhelmed and stressed. Anytime you would say, oh, we got alignment, let's move, it would be like, oh no, they changed their priorities. Some other team changed the priority, and now we have this, we're in the hole again. So everybody was overwhelmed and stressed. In Atlassian, just like any other company, we take a lot of pride in shipping. Engineers want to ship products, right? You hate getting stuck in a rut, waiting on decisions, waiting on dependencies, and there was a lot of stress in the organization. Of course, our processes were not built for scale. They're highly, highly manual. Just imagine managing this, even if you have a program manager across hundreds of dependencies, hundreds of features in a quarter, trying to manage that on a Confluence page, right? And the technology limit, like Confluence, we were totally bringing Confluence to its knees by what we were trying to attempt here. Like different people would have to go in and check off on their dependencies. Somebody else would pop up and say, you didn't add my dependency. Somebody will go scroll up to the back of the page and add a bunch more new work, and it just wasn't working. So what did we do? We introduced Jira commit tickets. We called it how to Jirafy your requests and commitments, and we wrote up a user guide, and we created a workflow that allows our teams to figure out how to manage dependencies better. We had a Kanban board. We would look at what was requested, what are we still negotiating, what's committed. If it's committed, it's golden. And then maybe there's something that's escalated because two teams just can't agree. And maybe there's a bunch of features where like, it's rejected. We're not doing this. We're just going to leave it in the backlog, right? And resolved. So that's how we tracked our Jira commit tickets for all dependencies. And if you look at this slide, if you look at what did we ask of the platform, it's very clear. You can see what's committed, what's negotiated, what's by each team. What did identity commit to? What's search committing to? So it was very clear for leadership to look at this and go, yeah, I think we're working on the right things, and these are the right things that we should be committing to. So it built a lot of confidence, and engineers could go back to building features and driving feature velocity. If you look at that, actually, you'll see that looks sort of googly. So we could have done this, built this on top of Jira, but we actually integrated to Google Slides and built the visualization just to showcase the use of really deep integrations we have with some of our partner products. Well, we wanted to make sure we weren't letting complexity get in the way of individuals collaborating. And we changed our process to match the technology. And of course, having the right tools. So we use Jira Confluence, but we also use third-party apps to drive the ability for product managers and program managers and leadership to be able to see what's being worked on and what's being committed at any given point in time in a very easy way, even within the complexity of the size of company we are now. So champagne toast to that. I wanted to just take a moment to, again, reflect back on those three use cases. The first one was driving change management within IT around a BYOD policy for your cell phones and mobile devices or iPads. That really, when we looked at it and we said, we got to become a company that's really good at change management, and we have all the right tools to do it, let's make sure we're using Atlassian products in the cloud to really drive the capabilities that the company really needs as we scale. The second was around project tracking and being aware of what you're building. And so Dom talked about, we're a get shit done machine. Like we work on getting a lot of shit done, but making sure we're working on the right shit the right way and having the ability to expose that to leadership and management was a very important use case. And the last one is managing dependencies across product teams and platform teams. And even in IT, like there's literally no large project we can take on without dependencies. You're driving something in marketing, and that's going to result in revenue, and finance has to be involved, maybe legal and tax have to be involved. It's a lot of dependency management and dependency mapping. So the ability to be able to see something and look at what's being asked of you to deliver a complete holistic value to your customer, that the ability to see that, the ability to support that is what was the use case here. So with that, I want to stop here and take a couple of questions. See if you guys have any questions about how Atlassian is using our own cloud, our products in our cloud to support the business outcomes. No questions? Clear as mud? All right. Thank you.